Hello, my lovely doodles. Welcome to my first critique. Yay! So I wanted to start the video off with a disclaimer. I know that a lot of people do deviant art critique videos, and I know that a lot more people have mostly negative feelings about the art that they critique. I don't want to be like that though. Unlike other channels, I'm not just going to look up fetish art and complain and laugh about it for a million videos. Instead, I'm going to do these videos every so often with certain themes that the artwork will fall into. As you can see, this one will be about My Little Pony. I have, and will continue, to ask each artist if I have their permission to show their work in my video. I do not show work without consent. So far, everyone actually has been really nice about it. Also, I'm going to link each person's DeviantArt in the description correlating with the picture they drew. Do not harass them. This is not what this video is about. These people all worked very hard on their art, and they do not deserve to be made fun of. Just because they aren't at the level that you are, or they aren't drawing at something that you like, does not mean that you can be rude to them. Okay, rant over. I'm also going to include some of my own pieces of art. I won't say which are mine, but I'm doing this to prove that I can be fair to a piece of work despite my feelings of it. You can probably tell which are mine since I won't be putting them in the description. However, I'm going to treat my work just as the same as these amazing artists. I'm also going to not compare other people to anyone else. On to the video. This first picture is great. It's something that you don't see very much of this community. Fully drawn images with multiple characters and a background. This is meant to be a cover, but even still, great job. The colors of the two ponies on either side of the green one contrast very nicely. You can really get a feel for what's going on in the story right away. Overall, the layout of this piece is really nice. The colors aren't too terrible, and the whole piece is solid throughout. Now, on to the more critical side. The ears really stood out to me. On the green pony, they're fine. Since the pony is facing forward, the ears fit. However, on the other ponies, it seems that the artist was going for a 3/4 look. It's a very simple fix. Either change the face to a 3/4 or change the ears to the side look. I think that one of them is supposed to be Rainbow Dash, but the colors aren't right, although that might be intentional. The anatomy is off, but anatomy is hard. Just keep in mind that the neck is quite long, and the head doesn't look connected. On the black pony, it looks so much better, since the neck is thicker and looks covered by the hair. Remember that hair often covers the back of the head, not the other way around. But again, anatomy is hard. The only thing I could say about the green one is that the legs should be longer into the chest. Other than that, I really like the piece. The front-facing pony is hard to draw, and you pulled it off very well. I also really like the shading. That's something rare in pieces like this. Overall, great job. On to the next work. Alright, this is another piece with a sort of background. The picture also seems to be showing a story rather than just having characters stand there. This is one of my favorite ships in the My Little Pony. I'll try not to let that get into my judgment. The neck on Rainbow Dash is not really that great. She looks like she's drowning in her own neck. Also, the tail is way more spiky than would be in the show. The wings are off as well. The leg anatomy is kind of strange. I don't think ponies will be able to stand on those legs. It's almost like this is their artist's first My Little Pony drawing, and it shows. Oh, anyway, on to this one. The line art is solid, and it's very even all the way throughout. I can't see any fault with the coloring or the lines. Anatomy is great as well. I love the foreground, but the background is where my issues lie. The television and table seems really flat. I understand that it's a 2D piece, but I don't think that that's the issue. See, when you draw something to look three-dimensional, you need to use a focus point that you extend your lines out to. I just think that that part could use more work. Also, try using different line thicknesses. You could try shading, but I understand that if you're not there yet, shading is hard. Another great thing about this piece is the rule of thirds. The character is not directly in the center, and neither is the TV. It makes the whole piece very visually appealing. Here is a pony that looks like they'd be right out of the show. One thing that I like right away is the expression and stance on the character. This makes them stand out from the thousands of ponies just standing straight up and smiling. This character has a personality just by the way they stand. The overall layout of the characters is also really good. The lines are great, the hair looks natural. I really like the wings, they're very well done. The only thing I have trouble with is the coloring. However, If you're happy with these, then don't listen to me. Maybe try out some different color palettes from online. You might like some color combinations that you find even better than the ones you have now. The next pony is simple but effective. The coloring isn't like most OCs you see on DeviantArt. It's almost contrasting colors, and they look good together. The stance is also pretty great with this pony. It's a dynamic pose. The only thing I have a problem with is the amount of blur that you used. You can't clearly see the outline of the pony, and you can't tell which leg is being lifted. The blur also makes the hair look greasy and wet rather than shiny. I know you're still learning, so no worries. I can tell you were experimenting with this. Overall, it doesn't look bad. Shading is in the right spot, and it's an interesting piece to look at. Just keep working on learning when and where to use the blur tool, and your art will continue to improve. This one is kind of cool. It's a full reference sheet. First things first, I love the background that you used. It matches with the coloring of the pony, and it makes it stand out more than a white background would. The design is very unique, and though the anatomy isn't the same as in the show, I feel like that was intentional. The eyelashes are a cool feature, and the cutie mark is exquisite. One thing that wasn't clear was the first form that you drew the character in. Is it supposed to be a bunny? A baby horse? I think that could be made a bit clearer. If you are looking for ways to go further, though it isn't necessary, try shading a bit more. The varying line thicknesses give the illusion of a kind of shading, but again, shading is not necessary. The layout of the page is great, and the varying line thicknesses work very well. You clearly know what you're doing. I must say, this one is very interesting. I've never seen a pony like this. The colors go pretty well together. The wings aren't too bad. You did a great job on the eyes and the mane as well. The hair, however, the braiding does seem kind of off. It doesn't go well with the body and isn't flowing the way it naturally would. Also, the anatomy is off. The chest is too big. However, it's an interesting design. Keep working on it. In the next picture, I feel like Twilight is in some trouble. First, good job showing that she's inside of that thing. You made Twilight's skin and hair color just slightly off to show that she's indeed in there. Many people just color around the character. Also, nice job with the expressions on the dark purple pony. One thing that I would say is the eye. The eye doesn't look natural, and it kind of makes Twilight look like she's an alien. Maybe the eye was intentional, I don't know. Also, smoother lines would improve your art, though if you want your style to be sharp lines, then no worries. Just remember to erase lines that overlap one another, like the black line that goes over the front leg. Just keep working on pony anatomy. It's hard, so don't beat yourself up. Also, was the tail intentional? Just curious, since Twilight's tail is full, though I kind of like the way it looks. This is a great picture, though. I can tell that you put a lot of effort into the piece, and it definitely shows. Keep at it and you'll only improve. Here is another thing you don't see too common on DA. Traditional art. Traditional art has started to go down in popularity since DA is a digital site. It's nice to see a traditional piece every now and then. This is very well drawn. I can tell that you've been doing art for a while. The legs are nice and the wings are phenomenal. Most of the anatomy is spot on. If I had to change anything, it would be that the legs are so long that you can't see any body. It looks kind of like the pony is just legs and armor. Also, try to make your lines thicker on things you want to draw more attention to. It's kind of hard to see the details that I know you put in. Part of this might not be your fault, though. Traditional art is a lot harder to capture details with. But the stuff that doesn't work well is very small. Most of the piece is very well made. You should feel proud of yourself. The next one has a lot of style. It stood out to me because the first thing I thought of was some kids that I used to know in high school. And that's not a bad thing. They just have a certain scene look that made me remember the good old days before bills and college and ugh. Anyway, your coloring is very great. I can't tell if you used a base or not since the coloring is done so well. I have nothing against bases though. Either way it looks great. The issue that I have is very minor. I just personally do not like the color choices. I think that they clash on the smaller pony. If it were just the green bit on the legs, it would not be so bad. But the blue doesn't match anything else. I understand that you want to make your character look unique. They definitely are. But try looking up some color palettes online and experimenting with different colors. You might surprise yourself. The expressions are also pretty nice. The lines are very neat. There aren't any issues with anatomy. Keep working at it and you'll keep improving. Here's a cross piece between two of my more beloved series, MLP and Warrior Cats. First things first, the anatomy on Blue Star's pony is very nice. Her arm could be moved a bit, but overall it's a nice pose. The cutie marks being their clan symbols is also very creative. There are white spots in the drawing on Crooked Star's hair. Take more time to fill those in. Also, Crooked Star's legs are a bit wonky. Overall, though, it's a good piece. This drawing has a unique pose. I can tell that this artist has a unique style when it comes to drawing ponies. This is a very cute character. The coloration is simple and doesn't clash. I also like that the outline is not in black. I'm starting to see that more and more, and I really like it. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the blush should stay on the cheeks. This could be a purely stylized thing, though, same with the hair and the eye. Personally, I don't like the hair being over the eyes and the eyes still showing, but that's your choice. Also, the legs should be the same length on the bottom. You did a great job with shading, though. The hair falls very natural. You've obviously been drawing for a while. Great job. Another traditional piece I see. This is one of my second favorite ponies behind Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash. It appears to be her human form. I love the gentle coloring in colored pencil. That's my favorite medium to use. The coloring is great, no missed spots, and it's very even. The lines are also great, varying in thickness. All of this shows that you know what you're doing. It's a very cute anime schoolgirl style. One thing that I think is making the piece not as great as it could be is the torso. The torso seems kind of too long. Also, if you look at the legs, they sort of curve in a way that suggests that the hips would start there. However, that would make the hips in the wrong spot. Legs don't start to curve like that until it gets to the hips. Just something to keep in mind. Great work with the clothing, though. That's something I still struggle with to draw properly. It looks very nice. This piece is very cute overall. Keep up the great work. Here's another single character art piece. The pony is very cute, and with the expression you gave the pony, I'm assuming that it's a nervous pony. I like the simple coloring. It makes it all the more pleasing to look at, and I also enjoy the texture that you put into the hair and fur. It makes it look all the more palpable. The coloring is also very precise as well. There aren't any little white spots where there shouldn't be. The only thing that I can say is that your lines look a bit shaky, like you weren't confident in them when you were drawing certain places. That will go away when you draw more and get more comfortable with your style and medium that you're using. Overall, this is a good picture. It's simple and tells us what we need to know about the character. Nice job. Wow. This picture is just full of ponies. That's a plus. It's just amazing. The amount of time it must have taken you to draw these ponies in this full scene, just wow. I love all the different colors in this piece. It all meshes very well. The coloring job is also very nice. It looks just out of a coloring book. The lines are very neat. Also, just a side note, I love that you put in pony butts. It made me smile. The anatomy on some of the ponies is slightly off, but anatomy is hard. Just for example, the pink pony is kind of long, while the yellow pony is small by comparison. This might have been intentional. I'm not sure. If it was, ignore me. Another thing that I couldn't help but notice was that the majority of the ponies had cool colored hair, blues and purples, all except for the barkeep. This does make her stand out, but I'm not really sure if that was the intention. Just keep color in mind when you make these pieces. There really is not a center place of focus here. Try to find a natural place for the eye to go and put more emphasis on that. Overall, the fact that the picture is busy is not a bad thing, but making a center focus point will make your art all the better. This is a great piece with a lot of effort put into it, I can tell. I know you'll keep improving as time goes on. Apparently, according to the owners of this piece, this was a base. I cannot even tell that this was a base, that's how well the coloring and everything is. All of the colors go great together and seem to have a girly, pretty theme. The colors all sort of mesh together into a new color. Every time I look at this piece, there's something else that I notice. Now, that isn't a bad thing, but it does also mean that there's a bit too much going on with this character. I understand trying to make a character stand out in the crowd of pony OCs. However, putting too much on a character can go against making them look unique and make them look more like a Mary Sue. The features of this character should be important to them. Accessories should serve a purpose and make sense. Maybe your character really enjoys putting pins in their hair, but try it for one or two. For example, I took the things out of the pony's hair and it looks like this. It is still a unique pony, but it's just little less busy. All characters need a calm spot. This allows our eyes to rest, so we can take in the rest of it and appreciate the busy spots. The character's design is unique, it's just a bit busy with both the body and hair being so uniquely covered in stuff. Here is a fan piece of Twilight Sparkle. I can tell who the character is right away. I must say, she's very soft looking, and it's clear that you used your own style to draw this in. It's a very soft and gentle style. It's also very cute. The subtle magic around her makes it less blank looking versus the plain background. I would love to see a more dynamic pose and expression. Yes, this piece is very cute and very well drawn, but the pony is just standing there. Try out some different poses or expressions. Everything tells us about the character, including their stance and pose. Even something as simple as changing their facial expression can change the piece. For example, look at these two different pieces. They are the same base, but the tone and character change dramatically with different facial expressions. You obviously are a talented artist, as I can see with the effort in this piece, but everyone can improve in some way. After all, look at the work that I've just shown of mine. Finally, we reached the last piece in the video. It's an OC, and the colors go very well together. It's a simple two-colored character, and it's drawn quite well. The artist said they were a beginner, but I think this is quite good. The lines are solid, and the shine lines on the hooves are in the right spots. The texture on the fur is also something most beginners don't seem to do much of. So if this is where you're starting at, I cannot wait to see what you consider being intermediate. The stuff I have a problem with is very minor. It's all anatomy issues. For example, the snout is a bit too small for where the mouth is placed, and the back thighs should be thicker than the calf. Other than that, it's a solid piece. You even shaded the back legs differently than the front ones. This is a great starting point, and you should be proud. Keep it up. Well, that's it for now. I have a bunch more art to go over, but this video is quite long already. I won't post another one of these right away. I want to try to release different types of videos after each other. That way my channel doesn't just become a critique channel or just a storytime channel. There's a bit of everything. Anyway, if your art was in here, let me know in the comments. Thank you to all the artists for letting me use their amazing art. I couldn't make this video without your art. Just a reminder not to harass any of the artists that were shown. I cannot emphasize that enough. I will be deleting any comments that are harassing someone else about their art. All the artists work hard on these pieces, and they do not deserve that. Well, that's all for now. I'll see all you lovely doodles real soon. Kisses!